Yo, what's good, everybody? We're back again with another episode of the Mouth Mike podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about the Knicks' loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night and listening to what Josh Hart had to say about the officiating during the game. Thank you guys for watching, and let's get started. So if you guys haven't seen already or didn't watch the game, last night the Knicks lost to the Thunder 117-107. An absolutely amazing game. It was really entertaining to watch. I watched from start to finish. So many stars came to play. Karl Anthony Towns, SGA, Jalen Williams, even some role players shining through. So a lot to unpack from the game. But the reason you probably clicked on this video is where we'll start. Josh Hart had a lot to say about the officiating last night in an interview, and he really called out the refs. We can watch that clip right now.
I don't understand how I got a technical foul for saying wake up, though. Yeah, so don't get me started on that one. And then, they had, some big plays that didn't go our way. I think Isaiah Joe hit a big three on Isaiah's offensive rebound when his foot was out of bounds in front of the ref. So, a couple of big plays like that didn't go our way.
A lot to unpack. First of all, he discusses the technical foul. These refs are becoming just more and more sorry. And listen, I'm not one of those guys that's gonna blame 100% of the game on officiating. You lose for a reason, and different factors play into that. Can refs be a factor to losing a game? 100%. I won't deny. I've watched a lot of basketball and I've seen a lot of botched calls. But it's very, very strong to say that a team lost 100% because of officiating. Now, I'm not saying that's never happened or that's impossible, but it's very, very rare to see a team 100% lose because of officiating. And that's not what happened with New York last night. There was a lot of things the Knicks did well, and there's a lot of things the Knicks need to work on. Did officiating play a part in that? Yes, I won't lie. I watched the game, and there was a lot of different moments where it felt like the physicality was there for both sides, and only the Thunder were getting calls specifically towards the end of the game. The first thing Josh talks about is the technical foul. And something I've noticed across the league is that referees are becoming more and more soft, incredibly soft. And it's really aggravating to watch that because you're a referee, you're not a player. So if a player brings something to your attention, and it's not like Hart used any vulgar language, he's running down the court and says, wake up. He didn't use any vulgar language. I mean, come on, dude. You're going to give him a technical foul because he's telling you to wake up? And to be honest, they had to wake up. The officiating last night was not up to par. It was not. So for you to come out and give this guy a technical foul because he's telling you to do your job, he didn't say it disrespectfully. He didn't use any vulgar language. He's telling you to wake up, do your job, and pay attention to what's happening in the game. And I feel like that's something referees need to hear. There's a lot of referees around the league who are just sitting there not doing their job correctly. So when a player tells you, yo, wake up, that means wake up, bro. He could have said so many other things, and we've seen Josh Hart completely wig out. And a lot of his technical fouls are warranted. But come on, he tells you to wake up, you tee him up? That's some sorry stuff, bro. That's some sorry stuff. Josh also talks about the different officiating throughout the game, specifically towards the end. And something I noticed, the play he talks about, it was a very tight game. Like I said, if you didn't watch, very tight game towards the end. And there was a play where I believe player on OKC shoots, misses. Isaiah Hartenstein gets the offensive rebound, something he's very good at. And he kind of gets off balance, and as he's going out of bounds, He throws it back in. I believe it was to Isaiah Joe. And Isaiah Joe hits a big three-pointer that kind of, started OKC's run towards the end of the game that put the Knicks out of it. And if you look back at it, Isaiah Hartenstein stepped out of bounds. Like, blatantly stepped out of bounds in front of the referee. So for the referee to not notice that, in my opinion, it's a little fishy. Or in my opinion, it's just the referee, once again, not doing his job. And Josh Hart's telling you to wake up. And you want to get all sad and sour because he told you to wake up when you're literally watching Isaiah Hartenstein step out of bounds and letting him make that pass to a wide open man for three. And also, it's mind-boggling to me how they don't look at that. We've seen so many times in the NBA where a team will call a timeout and during the timeout they review something like that and take it back. But they don't. They don't. So I'm not going to lie and say that the Knicks lost because of officiating last night, but it definitely had a lot to do with that. Officiating had a lot to do with the Knicks' loss. Something that's consistently, Tom Thibodeau is a top 10 coach in the league, maybe even top 5. He's a great coach, specifically defensively, but it just made me so annoyed last night to see him consistently watch Mikal Bridges. And no knock on Mikal Bridges. He is a great defender. But he is just not up to the level of SGA. He's not up to the level of arguably the best player in the league. You have the best defender, and I don't even think that's a question. OG Anunoby, the best defender, unless you want to talk about Wembanyama, but those are two very different types of defenders. The best defender in the NBA. And you're not going to put him on Shea? Come on, Tibbs. And this was something from the beginning of the game, and he stuck with it. He had 33 points last night, Shea. Consistently, just absolutely getting around Mikal Bridges. And I'm like I said, it's not like Mikal Bridges is a bad defender. He is still a very good defender. But he's not the best defender on this team. And when you have the best player in the NBA, your best bet is to put your best defender on him. Mikal Bridges is not the Knicks' best defender. That's OG Anunoby. And every time there was a switch and Anunoby got onto Shea, he locked him up. There was a possession towards the end of the game where Shea is doing literally whatever he can. Remember, people, this is the projected MVP. He's averaging 30 a game. He did whatever he could to get a bucket on Anunoby, and he couldn't. And when he even did get a shot off, because obviously, like we said, this guy's the MVP, and he did give Anunoby a little bit of work. Anunoby was still able to contest it, and it was a missed shot. And right after that, Tibbs goes right back to Bridges to guard Shea. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. It's really aggravating, Tibbs. Need to pay attention to that. Pay attention to how the game is progressing. Pay attention to what matchups look better. Another thing that we have to talk about, bench minutes. It's not looking good. I feel this Knicks team is the best Knicks team I've ever watched. But the bench is just so below average. I think it's bottom 5 in the league in minutes, points, rebounds, assists. Tibbs needs to manage that. That's the first. Last night was the first night of a back-to-back. They play Chicago again. They play Chicago tonight. He had every person in that starting lineup play 40 minutes. And I'm not going to say, give you guys rest in a very big game. That was a very big game, biggest test up to the season. But look at OKC. They didn't have one player play 40 minutes. The most was Shea, who played 36 minutes, and he dropped 33 points. There's no reason for every single player in the starting lineup to play 40 minutes. And this is a consistent problem that Tom Thibodeau has had. This is a consistent problem. I'm not telling you to put these guys on rest, put them on ice throughout the whole game. But 40 minutes on the first night of a back-to-back? You have a bench for a reason. And it's not like these bench guys are bad. You have Cam Payne, really good at working in the game. Landry Shamet, who's got a nice shot, and Precious Achiuwa. And you have these rookies who I believe deserve minutes. Ariel Hukporti, Tyler Kolek. Those are two guys who deserve minutes, and Tibbs is just not giving them to them. Last night, the Knicks bench played 28 minutes. That's not good. Like I said, this is one of the best Knicks teams I've ever watched. But if we don't have a bench, or if we have a bench that we have, or if we have the bench and that's being used right now, we are not going nowhere. Nowhere. We'll make it to the playoffs, but you're not going to last in the playoffs with only a starting five. I'm sorry, it's just not how it works, Tibbs. The final thing I want to discuss is Jalen Brunson. Now, Jalen Brunson is the greatest thing to ever happen to the Knicks. But last night in the fourth quarter and throughout the whole game, he was horrendous. Horrendous. Listen. I'm not going to go and say Jalen Brunson sucks, he's bad, he's terrible. No. Jalen Brunson is still Jalen Brunson. But the Knicks need to figure this thing out where he gets double teamed and the game falls out of their hands. Like the second OKC brought a second defender on the Brunson, it's almost as if he didn't know what to do. And the entire Knicks starting lineup was like shaking. Bro, come on. Like, game plan for that. Brunson's gonna get double teamed. It's just gonna happen. He's a good player. He's had a very quick emergence as a top 10 player in the NBA. He's gonna get those double teams on a night-to-night basis. So we need to figure out how to work around that. Brunson doesn't need the ball in his hands as much as he does right now. I think they need to run it through other guys. Karl-Anthony Towns only had 13 shots last night. Didn't shoot a single three-pointer, which is extremely worrying. I doubt that's something that'll ever happen again, considering how good of a three-point shooter Towns is. And he was having an excellent game last night from the field, 7 of 13. He was working the post pretty well. So they need to get him the ball more. They need to get other guys shots more. Brunson needs to get the ball out of his hands more. It doesn't just have to run through him. He's the point guard, 100%. He should have the most usage out of anyone. But last night it got a little OD. I'm not going to lie. It got a little OD. Brunson would bring the ball up every time. He'd get double teamed at half. He'd get the double would come at half court or around half court. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd pass out of it. It'd either be a turnover or it'd be a late shot clock scenario where Towns has the ball at the top of the key now and there's 7 seconds left on the shot clock and everybody else is locked up. You know what I mean? So Knicks need to find a way to work around that, but I'm not going to be one of those guys who's acting like the sky is falling because we lost by 10 to the best team in the league. We'll be okay. Looking tonight, we'll play Chicago. Hopefully these guys are going to be all right after playing 40 minutes last night. Should be a pretty not bad game. I hope so. And we play OKC again next week, so it'll be another great test. We'll see what type of adjustments Thibodeau makes, and definitely going to be entertaining to watch. Thank you guys for tuning into this Mouth the Mic episode. Please keep watching. The views aren't looking the best right now, but I'm just going to keep pushing out content for you guys. So if you're enjoying it, please show the support that you can. Share it around, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.